Hey, I'm Jeff, and I make music with my brother.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, and I also make music with my brother.
Together, we are Ekko and Sidetrack, and we make music that sounds like this.
And this.
And even this. This podcast is about music, creativity, and everything in between.
Welcome to A Band Apart with Ekko and Sidetrack.
One of the things that I don't like using my legs for, Jonathan, is standing in line.
Especially when it's standing in line for food. You're around other hungry, stressed out people on probably a time limit, and you're all just jostling for position.
And then you got to order and then wait again.
Nah, I don't want to do that anymore.
Guess what, Jonathan? You don't have to do that anymore, especially when you order a short order. You can just order online and pick it up at whichever store you want to.
That's so convenient.
It's diabolical, and the website works amazingly. Just log on, click on the giant button that says Order Online.
And then when you're all done customizing your order, simply check out, pay for it with a credit card, and then you get told what time you're going to pick it up.
It's so easy. You choose when you get your burger.
You are in control of your own destiny. And when you use this function on the website, you can put in the voucher Ekko and Sidetrack, all lowercase, for 10% off your order.
You can also use the code Ekko and Sidetrack in store, but I'd rather use it online. That way I can use my time on something else and just roll down there and collect my burger. You be the one to choose whether you eat it in your car or in the privacy of your own home.
So use the order online function on shortorder.com.au.
And if you want to save 10%, use Ekko and Sidetrack. Rest assured, it's the best burger in town.
You got that damn right. Jeff, currently I'm wearing a heart rate monitor.
Your heart is being monitored.
By a machine. I've had some irregular heartbeats, or felt like I've had a regular heartbeat, and I've got quite low blood pressure.
What does an irregular heartbeat feel like?
Well, I think this is correct. It feels like your heart sometimes spikes and goes, it's like palpitations. It's like a fast bit, it kind of, for a few beats, it goes quicker.
Like an out-of-time kick drum.
I think so.
Okay.
But either way, I've got this thing on. And I did like an ultrasound on my heart this morning. And the technician was doing it, and I was watching the screen. And I could see my valves opening and closing.
Whoa.
And then she was like looking at the sound, so she could record like the peaks and doing all this stuff. And I could hear the blood rushing in and out at certain times.
That's cool.
And I was struck by the thought that if this thing in my body, which is also in everyone else's body,
the heart,
is really, it's being run by electricity. This is a very basic understanding of how the heart works. And there's valves, there's little flaps that open and close and allows the flow of blood
like
around my entire body.
Yeah.
If something happens to one of those flaps, then I'm dead.
Essentially.
And what struck me was just the fragility of life.
Yeah.
And how fragile my own life is as I was looking at the engine that runs my body.
Beating inside your body.
Beating inside my body.
Like you're not watching a video of someone else's heart. No, it's like,
that's mine.
If I do something, that's my heart.
That's happening right now.
Yeah, well, that's...
And I was like...
Coming face to face with life.
Yeah, it is. It is becoming face to face with life.
Yeah.
And I thought, am I living? Am I truly living? And I went outside.
Yes.
And walked to my car, got in my car, and turned up the stereo real loud.
Yeah.
And played...
That's My Life by Bon Jovi?
No, I played Grease, the Grease soundtrack, for a little bit.
Which part of the Grease soundtrack?
Grease is the word, is the word, is the word. It's got boom, it's got me.
It's a big tune. I think it's by the Bee Gees, but it's not by the Bee Gees. It's by... Who is it by?
Vicky? Valentine? Vinny? Hey, Vinny. Richie Valentine.
Richie Valentine.
I think so. Hang on, let me just double check. Frankie Valli. That's going to get us taken off Spotify. But yeah, I played that real loud and just...
Put the top down on your convertible.
Yeah, exactly.
I angle graded the top off my car so I could live.
But yeah, it just made me think, like, you got to appreciate every moment, every beat.
Every beat. So what are you going to do differently? What's something you're going to change?
I don't know.
Wow, what a great podcast. All right, we'll be back next week with more revelations. What are you going to do? Come on, surely there was something you thought of in that moment that you're like, I'd like to change this. I'd like to look at this.
I'd like to say yes to more. I say yes to quite a few things, and I'm actually working on saying no to things.
I'd like to say yes. Currently, I'm having problems saying yes, but I'd like to say yes.
But I want to start saying yes to things that I truly want to do, but maybe I'm a bit afraid or uncomfortable to do.
Oh, this is interesting.
So I'm saying I've got good at saying no. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that.
Have you got good at saying no?
Yeah, I've said no to some things this month that I originally wanted to do, but I thought about it and go, you know what? I don't feel like doing that, and I know that it'll be better if I don't do that.
Yeah.
Because I've got another priority. I'm just going to say no.
Yeah. Okay, so saying yes. You want to get better at saying yes to the correct things and the things that really give you life.
I'll give you an example.
Please.
Someone says, hey, Jono, do you want to do something that you might not feel comfortable doing, but you kind of want to do? Here's an opportunity. Saying yes to opportunities that pass by you instead of, and you say yes to them instead of in the past, maybe I'd be more inclined to be like, oh, here's some reasons why I don't think I can do it.
True. Yeah, good point.
So I go like, nah, I can't, or no, I don't think I'm available, or no, I don't think I can actually do that. And just instead just being like,
so do some of these opportunities also mean that you're going to have to like focus or become a fan of and like exert some of that expertise that you were talking about last week?
Yeah, less fan of. I think more just focus and work.
Yeah.
Yeah, focus. I think more focus and work.
I think it's a good, thing to realize that when you take an opportunity and you execute on that opportunity, that feels good.
Yeah.
When you get an opportunity and you execute on the opportunity and you kind of like do it without doing any work and it kind of just happens, that also feels good. But there's something richer about the feeling when you do something and you've put the work in and you know it's going to be good, rather than being like, let's hope this one's a winner.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. Not hoping for a good outcome.
Yeah,
going for an outcome and being like, I'm okay if I get over 70%, but I'm aiming for 95.
And I believe I can because I've done the work.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. I recently listened to a podcast Tim Ferriss did with a woman named Diane about, sorry, I'm forgetting her name, Diane. I know she's a listener. About making decisions and leadership and things like that. And she talks to Tim a little bit about a whole body yes and a whole body no, and recognizing what real yeses and real nos are.
Just quickly, is that the episode where there is maybe like 20 minutes in, there's like a 5-minute exercise where you close your eyes and...
Yes, the woman is Diane Chapman.
Yeah, I was actually listening to that when I was driving my car the other day, and that exercise started, and I was on the freeway and I just closed my eyes just for a second to see if I could do the exercise.
Yeah, God, that's so good.
And it didn't go well.
And I just careened into the side and bounced back out like a bumper car.
I stopped the podcast because I was like, I'll do this when I can. I've got a moment to close my eyes. But I haven't yet gone back to that podcast. Continue what you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah, Diane Chapman talks a little bit about the whole body yes, whole body no, amongst other things. But she asks you what the exercise that she does during it is talking about what it feels like, what you feel like in your body. And she asks you to revisit a time when you felt a no and like working out what that feels like. Not just like, yeah, it's a no. It feels a bit uncomfortable. I don't really want to do it. It's like, where do you get those feelings? Do you get a bit tight in your throat? Do you feel a bit of dryness in your mouth? Do you get a bit anxious? And then like lean into this and then talks about that kind of stuff a bit more. And also what a full yes feels like. And I think it's really interesting to think about and also work out how your body reacts to things. Because I think we say yes to things because we feel like we should, and we say no to things because we feel like we can't. But then sometimes that gets mixed up as well. And so I'm trying to get better at working out like, does this feel like a yes? Or even you can practice like, you know, hypothetically, you say something's going to happen and then you go, if I say yes to this, is that going to be something that I'm going to be like joyful about? Am I enthused and energized by it? Or am I like, oh, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because
Fuck yeah, fuck no.
essentially, and she talks about sometimes you get a full body yes, but sometimes a full body yes is just the absence of the other bits of no, which I thought was an interesting point to bring up as you talk about trying to say yes as you live your life to the fullest and maximumist.
Well, I'm having a full body hard on for life. Is that a full
Don't go
body?
near a school, I'll tell you that much.
Jeff, last week we talked about being a fan of things, and I was saying that I needed to find a bit more fun in my life, be it bodyboarding, body skiing, body surfing,
Body painting.
body painting, body experimentation. But we didn't get to what you're a fan of or what you do for fun.
Yeah. Well, I have kind of a prepared answer, so allow me to just...
He's
Just
unraveling
kidding.
a scroll.
No, I did think
Papyrus.
about it. I did think about it a little bit. And firstly, the thing I do for fun is I think I work for fun. And I think that's a little bit
Say this.
to my detriment. I recently spoke to someone about wanting to have a hobby or find another hobby or just find time for those relaxing things that I get joy from that have no desired outcome. So I think that's something I'm going to
I think that's
explore a bit.
that's a great definition as well for fun, because I think we have a fun job, quotation, fun job, and
Yeah.
we enjoy doing the job, but it's got a what did you just say? An
expected outcome.
expected outcome. So it's like,
And also a measurable outcome.
yeah, I think it needs to be something that doesn't necessarily have an expected outcome.
And partly something I've done for fun for the last 20 years is get pissed with my friends and drink or do drugs or anything like that. And that is fun, but it's not that it's repetitive. It's that it's like it can get a bit one-dimensional. If you really think about it, you're like, oh, like, yeah, I like to socialize and I like to drink and I like to, you know, have those experiences. But like, if that's the only thing you're having fun, then that's a bit, yeah, I don't know. It's made me go like, I think I need to look elsewhere as well for that richer experience.
Yeah.
But I suppose that dovetails into the thing that I'm a fan of, and because I'm a fan of the work. And that may sound like a wanky answer, but what I mean by it is like I'm a fan of the process. Ever since I was a kid, I would want to see behind the scenes. I'd want to know how something was made, or like read the liner notes on a record. Who produced that? What does that?
Trivia on IMDb.
Exactly. What does it mean that something was made at that studio? Like, where does this fit in? And then like going, oh, how is this thing made. And so you become a fan of the process and a little bit a fan of like the nitty gritty of something. You're like, oh, I want to know a little bit about the history of that guitar, or what's the deal with that piece of mixing equipment? Why is it particularly iconic? And how can I then use that iconic piece of gear in something I'm doing? So, and I've always been interested in that kind of stuff, even with graphic design, looking at like techniques and things like that. But something I'm not particularly good is putting them into practice.
Yeah.
So you get interested and it's the classic thing of buying the book and you feel like you've read the book, or watching the TV show and you're like, I know all about this thing. It's like, have you ever used that? I've never used that thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I want to put some of those things into practice a little bit more. And as I as I pursue a bit more of my expertise in things and get a little bit better at doing things and doing things with more intention rather than just, again, hope that something will be good. I think that gives me great pleasure. And that's part of the reason I like the engineering aspect of music. Like, I like to write the songs, but I also like to make the songs sound as good as possible. Then I can be guilty of being like, I think this works. And then going, actually, you should probably read a little bit more about why that doesn't work or what would work better. So, yeah, that's my answer to the query.
So could you now answer, now you've said the answer that you wanted to give, can you now give the other answer of what are you going to do for fun? Like, what's going to be the hobby that doesn't have an expected outcome?
Not really sure, to be honest. I'm going to start playing my guitar more and actually want to buy a songbook. So I've got a book there, like of Beatles songs or something.
Wow.
And be like,
yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm going to become more of a fan of this music by learning how to play it.
You know what'd be cool? If you got a Beatles songbook that came in some sort of double pack, if this exists, of the piano music and the guitar music.
Most of them should have piano and guitar. You just might have to read notation.
And what we can do is have like a little Beatles cover band. And before we start in the studio every day, we can come down and spend 30 minutes playing Imagine together.
Perhaps.
On the organ and the piano. The guitar.
Sounds like an expected outcome to me. Let's pursue it. No, I just think that'll, because also I'm looking for maybe an extra
edge, because that's obviously going to help you in your songwriting for
exactly, but it's also going to give it's the skills are applicable elsewhere. As far as something that's pure pursuit, I'm not sure. I'm setting up a space at my new house that will give me space to do some drawing and art again, and I think art is a...
Does that mean you want your easel?
Oh, no, I'll take the easel on a case-by-case basis. That's fine. But getting back into that, I find that relaxing, and like I'm not under any illusion that I'm going to be a world-famous artist. So I just
do it for fun.
Just do it for fun. And that, yeah. And again, this is what I mean about loving the process is like, I like improving incrementally and like being like, that's not a bad picture, but I'm going to improve this. And I know that if I focus here, that I can make this bit better rather than just like doing it loosely and like, yeah, whatever. Because part of my dream in life is to be good at things and to be, the term master is almost a loaded term, but to be someone who's pretty masterful at things. James Cameron is a very good artist as well as being a movie director and a screenwriter. And I'd like to be someone can go, wow, that guy makes great music and he's also written songs for this band. And have you seen his art? And he's also has an honors degree in something like that's like part of being a well-rounded human. That's what I want to be. That's what I feel like my life has been in pursuit of, even though in some moments it's definitely gone off the beaten track. But I think that also adds to the rich tapestry that is me.
That makes sense. You're kind of like a journeyman. I think we both have that journeyman-esque quality to us where we have a lot of different things we're interested in.
Yeah.
And we want to be pretty good. We're pretty good at a lot of things.
And we want to be we want to be
a bit better, and we
Yeah.
want to be great at, instead of maybe having 15 things we want to be pretty good at, we want to be great at 6 things.
Yeah. And a journeyman is someone who like works for a long time to perfect their craft. And while I'm not going to get into any of the classic, craftsman things, I think you've got you're very proficient, and you could be even more so
At woodwork.
I think
I was going to make a joke, but
no, that's a genuine thing that you're good at. And I can do it if Dad's helping me and doing stuff, and I want to build more stuff with him. But it's something that needs time and things. And if I think to myself, like, is it a whole body yes to say I want to go and build a desk with Dad? If the desk is the outcome, then yes. But for fun, not really. So there has to be an outcome in that. So maybe that's not my thing. But yeah, the journeyman analogy is a good thing. We want to be well-rounded, knowledgeable people. And to some point that can mean that it's taken us longer to get there because, we're trying to fill 6 cups at once rather than filling one in sequential order. But
that means soon we're going to have 6 full cups.
Yeah.
While all these other idiots have 1.
Speaking of which, Jonathan, we're just getting a phone call. So do you mind if we break this?
Sure.
Well, that phone call took a while. It nearly took 24 hours, but we're back. The phone call has been finished and finalized. Thank you for your patience. It was very important. It was a good phone call.
It was.
So, Jeff.
Yes.
I think it's time for one of my favourite segments, even though there's only been one of them. Dear Diary.
Dear Diary.
Dear Diary.
I had a good day today.
I'm angry today. I'm sad today. I don't like myself today. I bought a remote control car today. Today was a good day. 3 weeks ago, I shared some journal entries that I'd written about a year ago when I wasn't in such a good place. And then I shared an entry where I was in a better place. And this week, it's Jeff's turn to do the same.
Yeah. I might do things a little bit differently. I have decided that my journals are my private things, and I don't want to share any specifics. Like, for me to read a section feels like a lot. Like maybe a bit of an overshare, but also it feels like something very concrete.
I think the large difference between my diary and your diary is that when I wasn't feeling great, it didn't involve that many other people. It mostly just involved my stuff. Yours, you went through things that involved more people, and it wouldn't be appropriate to divulge.
I've got lines like, I think forgetting is the saddest.
That's deep.
Yeah. And then, there's a bunch of arguably specific things in here that you probably shouldn't say in public.
Yeah, for sure. That's understandable. Do any keywords come up or phrases?
It's funny that you say that, because I actually found that kind of going through the books that I did, pass out a few common phrases. A word like tired comes up a lot, and is often kind of together with I feel really tired. Like, today was a long day. I'm really tired. And I think, when I'm at my worst, it's when I am tired and a bit burnt.
Do you just quickly, do you think you're good at recognizing when you're tired and exhausted? Some people can go to work and come home and they're like, I'm zonked. I'm not going to do anything. But traditionally, we have always maybe gone to another job and then come home and just kept going.
I think I can, but I also think I'm getting better at recognizing. Like this afternoon, even though my time is limited, I do want to lie on that couch and just close my eyes because it does make me feel 10 times better. It's like, I'm not sure I can't remember what the correct term is, but it's like meditating but not meditating. It's like non-sleep rest. That really helps me when I feel like this, overwhelmed and but yeah,
What are some other words that came up?
Lonely comes up, and I think at my worst, I probably feel like I'm the only one, and I can't share things, and I'm on my own. Even if I do objectively have people around me, I feel very much singled out by certain kinds of pain.
And this is a year ago.
Yeah.
Early 2020.
And more than a year ago.
Yeah.
I was going through a bunch of stuff. But then there's also moments just like reminders of being like things in there, like this day was bad, this day was like whatever, and then like, down the page or on the next page it's like, man, you had dinner with this person, you should jam music, like you should do these things. And I'm like, oh, am I doing this stuff? I suppose reflecting on it at the moment is a bit like I probably went a bit too in depth to find these little tidbits to talk about. But definitely my worst, I feel quite overwhelmed is another one. But to share some motivation that I think is relevant at any time as a counter to this down moment. In when was it? Around July last year, I wrote down some notes and I ended up sharing them with everyone on Instagram. I think I made an IGTV thing.
Okay.
But it's worth remembering, and these notes are for anyone. Taste and ability are miles apart. Work hard and they will get closer together. If you love the process, all the stuff you learn and experience now prepares you for that moment. The one you've waited your whole life for. You don't rise to the level of your expectations. You fall to the level of your training. Be kind to yourself, because if you are doing anything for outside validation, that's a fast track to unhappiness. And maybe that's fuel for your craft, but more likely than not, it will result in being grumpy, blaming others for lack of success, and you'll really want to quit. Try and have no plan B, because if all you have is a plan A, then all you do is suffer setbacks, rather than plan A will fail and you'll have to revert to plan B. There is no plan B.
Wise, sage words in there. Okay, so you wrote that over a year ago.
Yep.
How are you feeling today? Or what's changed? You talked about words like lonely, tired. Have you seen change?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've developed some amazing relationships I'm extremely thankful for. Shout out to Holly.
Big up the Barker.
And also you returning has brought things back together from that regard. I think that's really important.
Big up myself.
I've also been kinder to myself and like worked on my self-talk over the last year or so, and that's really improved my moods most of the time. But I can definitely still slip into moments of massive overwhelm and overstretching myself and being like, I don't want to do that. I'm fucking tired. But instead I'm just going to persevere, because perseverance is the hard work you do after the hard work's already been done. And that, then I end up with this list of things that I've achieved. but I did it all begrudgingly. It was tough to do.
I think it's very hard to live a certain way for basically your entire life and then change that within a year. Like, I think 2020 was a big year for a lot of people and around the world. It made them stop and rethink their entire lives or rethink how they dealt with situations, whether they went through life-changing things aside from going through COVID. And I think it's really fucking difficult to recognize those things and then put into practice something that will change you as a person within a year. Like, we're fighting against 30 or more years of conditioning that hard work is, what did you say? Perseverance is the hard work after the hard work's done. That's a true statement.
Yeah.
But also, when you do it to the point of burnout, it's unproductive and super unhealthy. Those habits are really hard to break. And I think it's easy to fall back into them. Just like any habit, when you're doing well, it's really easy to just, I can afford to push too hard here, or I can afford to.
Well, that doesn't matter anymore. I'm not going to do that thing. And you're like,
Yeah, exactly.
actually, that thing is integral into making me feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how my voice has changed since the start of this podcast, because it has been a day, dear listener, since we recorded it. And I wonder if you'll be able to hear the difference in energy from
Probably.
the times you record it. But yeah, probably.
I think so.
Is there anything else you want us to talk about?
No, I think that's it. Thank you for sharing from your diary.
My pleasure. Have you got a funny story for me? I feel like
You want to have a laugh?
I want to have a laugh.
Have I got a funny story for you? Whenever you're asked to come up with something funny, my mind always just goes blank.
Man, my mind goes more than blank. It just starts
Going unfunny?
or being random. Like, I don't have a system for how I look for a funny thing.
No.
It's not like I go, I've done lots of funny things. What funny things have I done this year? No, let's go back to 10 years ago. I just, like, my mind just goes, clowns, the dishwasher. Have you ever done something funny in the dishwasher? It's like, it literally becomes like funny by association. It's quite ridiculous, actually.
Yeah.
But maybe that's how you, like, improv kind of thing.
Yes, and.
Yes, and.
Do you want to do a quick improv?
Um,
Trying to think of a story. Well, I told you a story today that you found a little funny. I can maybe elaborate on that. All my stories.
That's enough. That's all I needed. You don't need to say that. You don't need to tell the story on the podcast.
So many of my stories. I've got some great stories, and the ones that instantly come to mind are all so inappropriate to tell in a public forum.
Yeah, I was going to tell a story about freezing shit, and then I'm like, that's just...
Yeah. It's not that it's like, I mean, a lot of mine are vulgar, but funny.
They are funny.
And funny because they happen to me.
Yeah.
And I think they're funny, and I would definitely tell you them in a second. But yeah, to share them, much like your diary, they involve other people. And it would be really throwing some people under the bus.
Maybe it's time for another bus throwing
And we
episode.
beep out all the names. No, let's do it.
Anyway, you give me that look as you just then lifted my mood enough to finish it off.
I'm glad it did, buddy. And it's the end of a good week.
Yeah,
Been a good week.
It has been a good week. It doesn't feel like it for me, but it has. As I wrote in my journal today, it's been a success. It's just not the success that you thought it was going to be.
That's something that's really important to remember.
Yeah, so that's why it's important to reflect on things, because you can go, I didn't win at all. But if you've written things down and recorded stuff, you can go like, oh no, I did win there, and I won there, and I won there, and I didn't lose as badly as I thought I did. And actually, I've had a winning week.
Yeah.
It's just not the winning week that I thought I might have had, my expectations.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well done, buddy. We got to the end.
we did it.
And so did you, dear listener. We hope that you've had a fantastic week and continue to have one.
If you'd like to submit anything for us to chat about on the podcast, or you just like to talk to us, hit us up on our socials, which are Ekko and Sidetrack on most things except on Twitter. It's Ekko Sidetrack. But very few people ever hit me up on Twitter.
I don't even have a Twitter login.
And that's what we'll leave it at that, Jonathan. You're not allowed access. We talked about you on the internet.
All right. Thanks for sharing again, buddy.
Thank you.
I'll speak to you next week.
I love you, man.
I love you too, man.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on your podcast app and keep up to date with all new episodes. They're going to be coming out once a week. We are Ekko and Sidetrack on Facebook and Instagram. On Twitter, we are Ekko Sidetrack. Go listen to our music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube, or wherever your ears consume happiness. Lots of love, people.